Georgia in the midst of their second best start in program history, seeking their first win in Gainesville since the 2018-19 season. And we are underway from the O-Dome. Georgia in the road red, Florida in the home white. Our officials, Pat Adams, Joe Hartness, and Orlandis Poole. Jordan Ross, blue cane, pull up won't go, and the tap back is good by Santos Surreal.
There's, you can see a peek of the physicality. This is a game that you have to make sure that you have spirited box outs all night long.
Florida, the best rebounding team in the country, and again this year they're without 3 starters that they had last year. As Lee misses on a 3, sent 3 players to the NBA. And Georgia, too, replacing the majority of their production. Asa Newell, first-round draft pick. But Mike White has found the right recipe of returners and portal players, and they are playing as well as anyone in the country.
Well, they have meshed well early on. They understand that everyone's going to get to participate. They can play and run at you in waves, and they get after it on end-to-end.
Xavier Lee, back-to-back. Leading scorer at Princeton last year. Condon went for the hammer. Catchings had it picked off by Lee. 2-on-2. Floater. Condon with the hammer.
That's a big move right there. A big-time player. Xavier Lee with the steal, and Alex Condon with a second crack at it. And there he is with the alley-oop over Surreal.
Jordan Ross floats it in off the window. One of those transfers who's been a huge piece to the puzzle this year for Georgia so far. And it's going the other way. A missed pass after the pressure by Georgia. It's been a unique year for Mike White, at least in terms of the body of work at Georgia since he took over 4 years ago. They're playing faster. They're scoring at a higher clip. He's got the best offense in the country.
And that's what players like to play in. And you see how they're able to score, and the energy they get from scoring a basket, they jump immediately into their full-court pressure to try to keep up the pace.
Ross goes baseline, playing off 2 feet, shuffle, back to Catchings off the window.
Great job right there. Ross being under control, pivoting, and then catching, shaping up, finding that soft spot, and nice touch on the bank shot.
The nephew of college basketball Hall of Famer Tamika Catchings, who was a fantastic player in the SEC at Tennessee. Thomas Houck, Florida's leading scorer, back out to Lee, 10 to shoot. Houck off the bounce, floats it in. Had a fantastic game in the 2-point loss to Missouri on Saturday.
He's continuing the trend, as you see his skill set, able to put it on the deck and the soft touch in the mid-range.
24 points in that heartbreaker in Columbia. Blue cane, no. Houck taps it out to Lee. Bumped, picked up by Wilkinson. Tries a 3. Rims out. And the rebound, Condon.
Well, this is a game early on, this pace. Whoa!
2 lobs to start at the O-Dome.
And this pace is electric. Now, Florida's a team that can play at a fast pace. Their bigs are mobile, they can run, and obviously they can finish above the rim. But this is the pace that Georgia wants to play at.
Ross draws the first foul of the game. On the drive, it goes against Boogie Flan.
They're getting out and running. Boogie Flan throwing it up top to Thomas Houck. And you see the athleticism of this front line, able to get out and run in transition, and they can finish with the best of them at the rim.
Free throw line will be interesting tonight, Richard. Georgia averaging 22 makes at the line per game. That's second most in the country against a Florida team that's done better as the season has gone along. Defending without fouling, that's one of the keys tonight for Todd Golden.
Well, Georgia is extremely aggressive, and they're able to draw fouls in many ways. They can get downhill and jump into your body. They have some savvy and crafty offensive players who understand how to take a fall and sell it to the official. And they get to the line, they can make you pay. And when they make their free throws, they jump into full court press.
The story all year to this point for Florida's offense has been struggles shooting the basketball. Just 28% from beyond the arc. They've been very successful, however, in the paint. Flan tries a three. Off the back iron, tapped around, and a foul on the floor will go against Alex Condon.
Condon trying to crash the offensive glass, and Todd Golden not in love with that call. This is a big boy ball game. And you got some big time defenders down low in the paint who are going to be aggressive. If I'm Golden, I want to see his team play. With that right there on the kick out after the double team is a shot. If you're Boogie Flan, you got to knock down.
Smurf Millender into the ball game for the first time for Georgia. Had a monster game. 5 made threes against Auburn. Kane tries and misses from downtown. Todd Golden wanted a foul on Georgia. Won't get it. Condon the other way, spins and jams it home.
Beautiful move right there by Alex Condon. He had the size advantage right there on Ross in the low post. The double doesn't come over. Quick spin to the baseline for the slam.
3 dunks to start the game for Florida. Their first lead is quickly abated on a nice shot by Jordan Ross.
Jordan Ross, an extremely confident player. He really set the tone for Georgia in their last game against Auburn.
Had 12 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, despite fouling out in that overtime victory against the Tigers. Inside Chinyelu, his first touch. He's averaging a double-double, and that's why his game has really developed, Richard.
And that's beautiful right there. That's what I love to see, the patience of this front line. You got post up down low with Condon, but Chinyelu, as Surreal backs off with confidence, strokes the mid-range J.
Ball tapped. Dylan James corralled. Fakes, has he, floats, and has a chance at the and one. What a take by the junior from Winter Haven, Florida, returning to his home state. And you said the word urgency. You can feel it in the building tonight.
It's definitely in the building. And it's been in the building since last Saturday. The opening round of SEC play did not disappoint. And it's poised to look like round 2. It's going to be a big-time finish.
Isaiah Brown knifing to the cup. All 12 of Florida's points have come in the paint.
Great job right there by Charter to collectively beat the press by way of the pass. And Longton with that screen, freeing up Brown for the layup.
Wilkinson no on the high archer. And the rebound tracked down by Houck. Bounce pass. Finds Brown again. Another two-hand jam.
Excellent execution. Isaiah Brown.
Oh, a lot of contact there. Wilkinson wanted the call, won't get it. Florida running with numbers. Houck took the bump and will go to the line for 2 shots.
Florida has done a tremendous job handling the pressure of Georgia. They beat this press collectively with their head up, pushing around the court. Isaiah Brown getting an easy layup in his recognition. He backdoor cuts as his defender steps up and gets a slam on the baseline. Great play right there by number 20 in white.
There was a big question coming into the second game of SEC play. How much deeper would Todd Golden go with his rotations? He's kept it pretty tight. It's been an 8-man rotation in large part. Isaiah Brown getting some early run here and making an impact at home with a 3-point lead.
Well, this is exactly what you do. You come right into the game and you understand the assignment. He steps in, he recognizes the press, makes a great read, gets freed up, and finishes with some explosion around the rim.
Catchings, step back, and he knocks it in.
It's a beautiful shot right there by Cannon Catchings. He was out here early on in the shoot-around working on that mid-range J, and it's paying off early.
And there was a 10-second violation called by Pat Adams, and at midcourt, he is met by Todd Golden. Well, he felt like the whistle came in late, and it's going back the other way.
Well, I think that the possession was not, they did not have possession of the ball into the front court as the ball was in mid-flight before it was touched, and the clock goes to 19 seconds.
No points yet for Georgia's leading scorer. Here he is with the basketball. Wilkinson shuffle inside to Justin Absent.
There's that depth right there of Georgia. Justin Absent checking in, the front line finisher.
Stolen by Smurf. Millender lays it in for 2.
Excellent job. This backcourt of Georgia will come at you. They understand they have great foot speed. They can guard their own men and deny the ball, get easy points. Smurf Millender, I think one of the quickest guards in the SEC.
Houck knocks down a triple, the first of the game for either team.
Thomas Houck showing out that versatility, the beautiful jumper.
Florida has made its last 5 shots. Lee drives. Kick out. Klabjar off the mark. Rebound hand locked in. Brown set back by Absent.
Mentioned the shot blocking ability of Justin Absent. Georgia, the pressure in the backcourt. Smurf Millender with the quick hands and the easy deuce. You know, the pace of this game right now is played benefits Georgia. Thomas Houck's going to have to hit a few of those from the outside from Florida and mainly make Georgia have to guard them in the half-court set.
Todd Golden told us he didn't feel like Mike White's team wanted to guard for 25, 30 seconds of the shot clock. So far they haven't had to, and that's just because of how quickly Florida has gone tonight. Brown tries a 3. Catching. 3 on 3. Takes it himself. Surreal skying for the rebound. And he stepped on the end line. It's going back the other way. Speaking of national champion head coaches, Urban Meyer in the building, welcoming in new football head coach John Summerall earlier on this week.
And I think in this game right now, the pace benefits the Georgia Bulldogs. They're going to have to make sure that they beat this press collectively. You cannot leave your guards out hanging to dry, because that's when Georgia will take advantage.
Already 4 Florida turnovers tonight. A couple of those have come trying to break the press.
Now they've dropped back into this 1-3-1 zone, trying to make a different look. I think the open spots will be in the corners to get a clean look if you're Florida.
Boogie Flan with 5 to shoot. Klabjar with 3. Step back 3. Knocks it in to beat the buzzer.
That's a big shot by Urban Klabjar. The Slovenian from Dumjali grew up in that Helios Dumjali basketball system and transferred over to Real Madrid, and their youth program has a lot of confidence, comes from a basketball family.
Meanwhile, the second foul on Boogie Flan.
Got a little ball, but the extension of that off arm. Foul on Flan. And this is the aggressiveness of Jordan Ross. He's a crafty player, can get into the paint, knows how to finish, and has really accepted his role of kind of being the tone setter as of late.
74% free throw shooter coming into the day. He's missed 2 already. Was a 4-star recruit out of high school, spent 2 seasons at St. Mary's. Went to 2 NCAA tournaments, including as a 35-game starter last year. Something that Mike White and his staff identified early in the portal, wanting to get guys with NCAA tournament experience. Mike White, of course, brought Georgia back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in a decade last year.
He's done a phenomenal job. He's got winners a part of his program, and it's starting to pay off last year in the NCAA tournament and continuing the trend this year. Now, this zone is what's going to be difficult to figure out. Watch Klabjar might get an open look in the corner.
Florida struggled against the zone, admittedly, at Missouri. Condon able to beat it there for 2 shots at the line.
Great execution there by Florida. When Georgia runs this 1-3-1 zone, you'll see a lot of teams run that old tilt action. As you'll start a shooter on one side, you'll run them on the baseline, and it forces the defense to run out of men. That time, they weren't able to recognize it, but the duck in by Alex Condon created an easy opportunity to go to the line.
More SEC hoops coming your way next, right here on the SEC Network. We take you to Auburn, Alabama, a key game for the Tigers against an 11-3 Texas A&M team. And you think you're seeing pressure tonight from Georgia? Tune into that one, because A&M will press for 40 minutes.
Yeah, they will. And Bucky McMillan off to a hot start at Texas A&M. And Stephen Pearl, he'll have the advantage of playing in the jungle tonight. Maybe the crowd can help the Tigers get a win.
Wilkinson still scoreless. Shuffle. Surreal trying to go for the hammer. Couldn't get it. Ball on the deck. Tracked down by Ross. Kane off the bounce. Floats it in over the top of Condon. And there's a whistle after the fact. Joe Hartness getting between Surreal and Chinyelu.
This is a heavyweight bout right here between Chinyelu and Santos Surreal. A lot of physical play underneath the goal. The officiating crew will have to sort this one out.
The whistle was after the bucket. There appeared to be some kind of a tie-up. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, and I think that one's that's gonna rise up to an ejection here. That looks
common foul on Georgia. The
by
play is under review.
Right, then the question is, flagrant 2, which carries an automatic ejection, has to have contact with the intent to harm or injure. The fans here believe it's a flagrant 2.
Definitely a little something to the head or neck area.
Todd Golden just saw it for the first time. He's going nuts. They've made a decision.
After the review, it's going to be a flagrant 2 technical foul on red number 2. It is a dead ball contact technical foul. White will shoot 2 shots and have the ball.
Florida will get the ball as well after these 2 free throws. But even more monumental than that, no Santos Surreal for Georgia. Their enforcer in the paint, their top rebounder, and one of the most improved players in the SEC this year.
And one of the best shot blockers in the country. But, you know, in these situations, it's unfortunate he wasn't able to keep his cool in this moment. But he'll have to regroup in many ways. You lose a frontline defender, which is going to be huge because the strength of Florida is in the front line. But this will allow Georgia to play at a much quicker pace. And if they can quickly change their game plan without him, they might be able to put things in their advantage.
Kareem Stagg, the 6'5" freshman, comes in. It's a much smaller lineup, Richard, to your point, for the Dogs. 10 minutes to go in the first half. 3-point lead for Florida after the ejection of Santos Surreal. Klabjar inside Condon, and he gets the friendly bounce.
You see the veteran taking his time on that low block as he has Stagg, a young player, using that beautiful footwork and that extension over the top.
These next 91 seconds feel huge for Georgia. How do they respond before the next immediate timeout? As Florida has its largest lead of the game to this point at 5.
Florida's doing a really good job of walking the ball up the court. They'll take their time in this offensive set, looking for things in the low post where they clearly now have an advantage.
Klabjar driving, and the lob to Chinyelu.
Beautiful work by the Florida Gators. Ball moves from side to side, and it's Urban Klabjar getting a piece of the paint, throwing the lob up top to Ruben Chinyelu.
Stagg, extra pass, catchings to Blue. Wilkinson, up and under, no, still scoreless tonight. Georgia's leading scorer. Houck back the other way. Oh yeah! Sixth dunk of the game for the Gators. Timeout, Georgia.
Florida making a surge and picking up some energy, getting end to end. Great patience in the half-court set. Alex Condon with the beautiful footwork in the jump hook. The unselfish play. Urban Klavjar with the great touch on the alley-oop pass to Chinyelu. And then it's Florida going end to end with Thomas Houck going up top.
20 of the Gators' 30 points have come in the paint. 17 of those between Houck, who's a perfect 4 for 4, and Alex Condon, who is 3 for 4. After the Mike White timeout, Jeremiah Wilkinson drives, floats. Oh my goodness, circus shot for his first 2 of the game.
I tell you, this kid's fearless, and he's going right down there with the trees, and that hang time and the English, phenomenal finish.
Stops an 8-0 run. Klavjar. That's a 3, and it rims out. Tap back good by Handlogton.
You see this front line depth. Micah Handlogton checks right in and is impactful on the O boards.
Stagg. Oh, that was just muscle on muscle. Handlogton won that one. Condon a 3.
Really good box out right there by Kareem Stagg. This is something that the young freshman is going to have to do a really good job of boxing out, particularly when Georgia plays their 1-3-1 zone.
Boogie Flan. Handlogton, no. Third opportunity missed by Houck, and back the other way goes Wilkinson. Three underclassmen on the floor right now for Georgia. Smurf Millender, step back 3, got it. He had 5 on Saturday in the win over Auburn.
You see the confidence of Smurf Millender. He used that rhythm dribble to get Klavjar on his heels, and then he rise up and knocked it down.
Florida has shot 56% from the floor. Largest lead of the game was 9 just a moment ago. 6:30 to go in the opening frame. And a foul will take us to a commercial break. The dunks have come in bunches for the Gators.
Well, it's coming because they're sharing the ball, and they're doing an excellent job. Ruben Chinyelu ready and up top. And it's Thomas Houck going to the top shelf for the Gators.
Early from the Gamecocks.
Well, Lamont Paris' squad has struggled to shoot the ball. They were shooting below 30% in the non-conference from 3. It was just only a matter of time that they would catch fire.
LSU came into that game receiving votes. Here's Isaiah Brown, short, rebound Boogie Flan. Threw it away, and now Smurf Millender. Step through, lays it in.
You know, it's just a 4-point game, and as we mentioned, the emotions of Santos Surreal's ejection really put a bit of energy in Florida.
Well, this is Lob City tonight in Gainesville. Brown couldn't finish it, but there's been 6 dunks, and there's a swat by Thomas Houck. Florida is +10 in the paint tonight, +4 on the glass. That's a volleyball spike coming from the weak side.
Great range by Houck, coming in, closing in for the rejection.
Rhythm jumper, Wilkins way off the mark, but he was fouled. 3-point shooter in the act of shooting. He's going to the line for 3 shots. Todd Golden is beside himself, talking with Jeb Hartness.
Late call on the three-point foul. Nonetheless, Wilkins going to the line, shooting three. If we saw anything, and Todd Golden's seen anything from this Georgia team, from their opening win against Auburn, I don't expect them to blink. You know, this is a team that obviously you lose one of your top players who's been playing great basketball, but they go 11 deep. They're going to pick up the tempo, and now after a made free throw, just expect the press.
Chinulu the rebound. Hauk, no, tap back effort won't go. Ball was bounced, I believe, off the head of Dylan James of Georgia. That's what Florida's arguing, but the officiating crew has signaled Georgia ball. And Todd Golden's about 10 feet onto the court asking for a review. Pat Adams has stopped play and is headed to the monitor.
The call on the floor is Reds basketball. The play would be challenged.
I think that's going to be overturned quickly. This is a challenge, so there is a timeout at stake for Florida, but I believe this will be won rather easily.
I agree with you, as it was spiked off of Dylan James' head.
The call will be overturned. The challenge is successful. It will be White's basketball.
A new team and a different dynamic about how they're going to get it done. And oftentimes, when you're a part of championship teams and you have newcomers that be a part of it, they tend to benefit from the player's success of previous.
Hauk knocks down a three.
And there's a player who was previously on that championship team who's now taken another role in his leadership and performance. But as I was saying, your newcomers have to come in with a little bit more grit because they had nothing to do with the previous success. But it's a very hard thing to do to overcome human nature.
More full court pressure from Georgia. They have forced 5 Florida turnovers so far tonight.
Smart decision there by Isaiah Brown to pull this one out. Make Georgia have to guard you in the half-court set, particularly with this lineup.
Hauk inside Chinulu, set back by Abson. 3 to shoot. Lee didn't see it. Chucks up a 3. Did not draw iron, and it's a shot clock violation.
In many ways, Xavier Lee's not able to draw iron. Justin Abson, transferring over a couple years ago from App State, 2 years removed from being one of the nation's leading shot blockers. He'll have to come in and show what he's able to do down low. But that guy, Xavier Lee, number 1 in white, got to get it going from the outside with his shooting stroke.
Millender, fadeaway jumper goes.
Good job by Spurf Millender playing off 2 feet and pivoting. Might have got away with a little bit of a travel, but good balance to finish that shot.
And he was out of bounds. Klabjar was, as he received the pass from Lee.
You can also use your body and get to the free throw line and build your confidence by knocking down free throws, and then play inside out
and knock down your jumper then. You got to grow your game from the rim out. And if I was a guard at Florida, that's how I would do it.
Shooting just 28%, on pace to be the lowest three-point shooting team in Florida history since they started tracking that statistic during the 1986-87 season. James, floater, good. His second bucket.
You see Georgia retaking the lead. We touched on, this is a team that goes deep with players that understand their role. They're going to play a style that they don't rely on one particular player for their offensive output to carry the squad. So I don't think this is a moment that they'll be concerned without Surreal.
Condon went into the paint, doubled, shuffled, and locked in, no, and Hauk was there to clean it up. And now Thomas Hauk with a game-high 15.
This is where Florida really has to start to flex their muscle. This is the top offensive rebounding team in the country, and they're going to have to continue to lean on that to get more possessions and more attempts.
Under 3 minutes to go in the opening half. Florida has led by as many as 9. Went on an 8-0 run after the ejection by Santos Surreal. Short shot from Blue Cane. Here comes Xavier Lee. Klabjar taking some contact from James. Florida resets. Lee tries a three. They are now just 3 of 12 from downtown in this game. Here comes Smurf Millender. Ross absent, contact, ball loose. Here comes Lee, 2-on-1. Lee, Euro, no. And back out to Millender wanting to push the pace.
Challenging finish right there for Lee, going with his weak hand off the wrong foot. It's one you want to come in under control, see if you can see a bucket fall.
Smurf up and under, floats it. And he has been the star of the show tonight for Georgia. Team high 11 points, 5 of 5 from the floor.
And Smurf Millender has elite footwork. We've seen it on display multiple times tonight where he's able to use his step through, pivoting, taking a lot of time in the paint.
Condon, left hand good.
It's a beautiful job right there by Alex Condon. He caught that ball on the move and the pirouette to get to the left hand finish.
Under 90 seconds to go in the opening half. Blue Cane bounced it off his leg. It's going back to Florida.
And look at this balance. As you can see, you go big screen roll action. And Alex Condon catching that ball on the move, and a great display of footwork and finesse by 21 White.
The call on the floor is White's basketball. The players under review.
You can hear the tension.
A little bit of it. But these are two teams that are battling, and it's so important, obviously, for Florida that you got to get a win to get things going in conference play.
Well, originally the call on the floor was off Blue Cane.
After the review, the challenge is successful. It would be Georgia's basketball.
Jordan Ross will inbound it. Gets the shuffle pass from Kane. Catchings into the middle. Stagg was stagnant. And an air ball.
That's one where Stagg has to have some confidence and shoot the first one. The work was done by his teammates. Trust your touch and shoot that soft floater over the top.
Under a minute to go in the opening half. Florida has led by as many as 9 in a quad one opportunity for both teams. Condon, Hezzy lays it in.
That's beautiful patience on that low block. He did a great job with his drop step, and then the hesitation to let the defender blow by gets him the easy layup.
Jeremiah Wilkinson back on the floor, tried to get it over the top, could not, and the follow is good by Kareem Stagg.
There's the athleticism of the freshman Stagg. That's how he's going to have to make an impact on this game, getting on the offensive glass with the putbacks.
Shot clock is turned off. A 1-point game despite Santos Surreal's ejection and despite Georgia's leading scorer, Wilkinson, just 1 for 7 from the floor. Flan, floater, it rims out. Rebound attempt, Flan at the horn, short, and it is a 1-point game at the half. They will wave off the bucket by Thomas Houck. Guard play has been key in this game. No points between Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan to Florida. Meanwhile, Millender and Ross combined for 17.
And in many ways, that's been a little bit of the story of this season for Florida. And there you see another miss by Boogie Flan. My suggestion to these guards would be when you're struggling to be able to put out any type of offensive production as Cannon Catchings lines up a 3-ball from outside.
Just the second made 3 of the game for Georgia. Lob to Condon, which is exactly how the game began. Florida rather had 6 dunks in the opening 10 minutes of the game.
Absolutely, and the bigs have been doing their part. But if you're the guards, get yourself going by drawing a foul and getting to the free throw line and getting it easy. I can't speak enough about seeing the ball go through the rim, what that does for your confidence.
Picked off Xavier Lee. He will take it all the way.
And that's exactly what you want to do. Xavier Lean turning some defense in the offense. It could be exactly what he needs to try to get into a rhythm.
First points of the night for a young man who shot it better over the last 5 games, shooting above 40% from downtown, which has been the struggle of the year for this Florida team coming off a national championship run from last season. Lee up and under, set back by Absent. Hauk, right place, right time. He's up to 17.
And that's how you play against a shot blocker like Absent. You got to be able to have a little bit of touch and range and float it over the top.
And a foul against Florida. And Wilkinson a little bit gimpy. Remember, Wilkinson injured his ankle in overtime in a win against Auburn on Saturday. They listed him as available well before this game. Just taking his time after he took the bump, coming off a season-high 31 in that win against Auburn. For a Georgia team that is off to its second-best start in program history, the best since the 1931 season.
Wilkinson was spectacular in that. You see Blue Kane puts it on the deck, and he has some athleticism and a nice touch with that running layup. With Wilkinson, as you touched on, a big performance in the opener against Auburn. He's a big-time player for Georgia.
Hauk, 3. He too had a big performance. 24 points in the loss to Missouri on the road. And that ball bounced Georgia's way. Because of the coach's challenge, the guy with the iPad has to have the second biggest job
this season. You see the head coach point as you get a chance to look. Let's see how close this is. And I think that is off of Wilkinson's fingernail. It's super close.
Now remember, you're allowed 1 coach's challenge per game. You get an additional if the first challenge is successful. Todd Golden had a successful one in the first half. Regardless of what happens here, he is out of coach's challenges for the rest of the game.
In 2 possessions previously, when the ball was out of bounds on the baseline, Boogie Flan had gone to Todd Golden and asked him to challenge another one, and he told him, I can't waste my challenges, but he feels that this is significant enough.
The challenge is successful. The call is overturned. It'll be Florida's basketball.
Now, the Gators have been so close this year, Richard. 5 losses by a combined 17 points. Had they made a few more threes, they might be coming into this game undefeated.
Very easily, very easily. And it's been from the opening game of the season, starting off playing #1 in Arizona, playing high-level basketball. I mean, this is a team that's just a couple of possessions away from closing it out.
Flan bailed out by the foul as the shot clock was expiring. He'll get 2 shots.
You know, in many ways, we've talked about the guards being able to be productive. In many ways, a lot of this is the way that the game is now played from the guard position. You know, you used to have to teach the guards to play under control, on 2 feet. If you attack the basket, you would try to get a piece of the shot blocker. But now with the crafty footwork, the Euros, the certain type of moves to try to elude the defense, it puts you in a situation where you're not drawing as many fouls. And good players who are really good players who know how to be productive offensively get to the free throw line. It's something that you have to have with a physical tone and a tough mindset to do so.
Nolan Christ helping Florida out tonight with 2 successful coaches' challenges. They lead by 4, led by as many as 9 in the first half. Wilkinson trying to get around Lee. Zips it in, Absent through contact, no. Tap back won't go. Absent saved it, fresh 20. Picked off by Hauk. 3 on 2. Flan draws another foul.
There you
and
go.
The Arkansas transfers going back to the free throw line.
And that's how you get yourself going. You put your head down, you got a defender right in front of him. You go right through his chest with a power jump, and you see Boogie Flan draws a foul. It will soften up the defense, and now after you establish that interior tone, you'll have more time to line up your outside shot.
Todd Golden told us maybe Boogie feeling the pressure a little bit right now, was such a highly touted recruit. Until his torn UCL in his thumb last year, late in January, he was trending towards SEC Freshman of the Year. Went to the NBA draft process, ultimately electing to return to college basketball, transferring to Florida, coming in with high expectations, like so many of these Florida players, including Lee, who shuffles it to Chinyelu. And off the window, an 8-point lead for Florida.
Florida starting to heat up, as they've been really good at sharing the ball. 13 assists now for Florida. Unselfish play has to be the recipe for success for the Gators.
Ross had it stripped, and Flan stepped out of bounds after he wrestled the ball away. Gators in the midst of a 12-2 run over the last 2:59. Todd Golden's team seeking their second quad one win of the season.
Georgia's got to get something from the baseline out of bounds situation.
There's Ross rolling, floats, and knocks it down.
That's a win right there for the Bulldogs. They were starving for a basket. Jordan Ross, very talented and confident.
And that'll be a foul on Wilkinson, his second. He will come out. Smurf Millender back in. Georgia has remained in this ball game despite the fact that their leading scorer, Jeremiah Wilkinson, has just 2 points on 1 of 8. And their star big man, Santos Cyril, was ejected for a flagrant 2. Was still 10 minutes and change in the first half.
Well, they score points by committee. In any situation, it's always next man up and can be anyone's night.
Flan off the back iron.
Now, that's one right there. If I'm Boogie Flan, I keep going. You found some things attacking the basket. Continue to do so until they stop you.
There is a foul on the floor, likely against Dylan James of Georgia. It is. After a great rebound effort by Haupt. Won that ball back for Florida. It'll be Gator basketball when we come back. Just came up with a steal. The 4th turnover already of the second half for Georgia. And out of the media timeout, it's Florida basketball.
Georgia's done a really good job of making adjustments after timeouts. They're going to have to see if they can be disruptive on the defensive end with this Florida run they're on.
Condon through a double team, almost tied up by Ross. Here's Lee off the bounce. Got his own miss. Haupt reloads. 3-ball rims out. Rebound King.
Georgia, a great job coming out showing that 1-3-1 zone. It's been able to give Florida some fits. Great adjustment coming after the break.
Kareem Stagg, the freshman, getting extra minutes without Cyril on the floor. Coughed it up. Flag and a flash. Takes it to the cup.
And that's where you'll find success if you're Boogie Flan. You've been able to take it to the cup. You're 4 for 4 from the free throw line. You get a clean lane due to that seal off. You get a wide open layup.
Dylan James lost the handle. He is down behind the play. Numbers for Florida. Haupt spins. No, and handlock in there to tap it back.
Offensive rebounding. The #1 offensive rebounding team in the country. And Micah Handlogging getting on the boards.
Largest lead of the night for the Gators. Flan to the cup.
Excellent recognition by Boogie Flan. And this Florida team really understands how to help him out. They're doing a great job of giving him an alley. It's like a tunnel screen, giving him that path where he can take it all the way to the basket.
King walled off. Over the top, knocks it in. That stops a 12-2 Florida run.
That's a big shot right there by Blue Canyon. And Georgia's got to get a stop in a massive way.
Well, Kane goes to the floor. That's going to be an offensive foul on Hauk. Todd Colton cannot believe it.
The call on the floor is a common foul. The player's under review for a possible flagrant foul.
Whistled for the foul. They went to the monitor just to see if it would be upgraded because of the extension. Ultimately, Richard, they decided it will stand as a common foul.
Good call, I think, to stand as a common foul. And I think they got Thomas Hauk for the last little bit as he was trying to raise his arms up.
Free throws have really been a non-factor tonight for a Georgia team that leads the nation in makes. 22 per game. They so far tonight have hit 5. And another turnover, the 6th of the half for the Dogs. They had just 3 in the opening 20 minutes.
Great defensive fundamentals, stealing that ball with his inside hand on the backdoor cut. Outstanding. Those type plays will be shown in the film room tomorrow.
This feels like a critical 2 to 3 minute stretch for Georgia, who trailed by as many as 9 in the first half, cut it to 1 at the break. Flan with 3 to shoot. Catchings steps out for 2 and hits. No, it's a 3. Orlandis Poole had an eye on the line, and it is a 3 for Cannon Catchings.
That's a really big shot right there for Catchings. He's been able to hit some impressive jumpers tonight with a high degree of difficulty.
Flan, what a pass to Handlogton, and it results in a foul on Georgia, their 5th. Hauk floats it down.
That's a beautiful job right there by Florida. You got the double team coming on the baseline trap from Abson. Condon does great recognition, but it's the flash to the high post by Hauk to make himself available, creates that bucket.
Millender rims out a floater. Catchings there to win it back. Bailey, step back 3. And a whistle on the baseline against Catchings of Georgia.
The great recognition in the low post from this front line as Alex Condon recognized the double team, and there's the flash to the high post. Thomas Hauk with the soft touch over the top. They can play a slow tempo towel and still really be effective. And tonight they've been able to do so, playing a more of an up-tempo pace like Georgia does.
A championship last year, the 3rd in program history, as part of a 36-win season, tied for the most by a Florida Gator team.
Georgia going back to their 1-3-1 zone. And Florida's done a really good job diagnosing how to attack this to find the soft spots.
Klabjar, deep 3. Rebound, Handlogton. And back out to Flan.
If you're Boogie Flan, you can use your dribble penetration to get in the middle of this zone.
Hauk, floater won't go. But again, Georgia dominated on the glass so far tonight. Florida +7 in the offensive rebounding category. Meanwhile, a foul on the Gators.
Still a lot of time for Mike White's squad to put some things together. You can start right here with the design play. They had some success on their last baseline out of bounds opportunity.
Almost a turnover. Abson wins it back. Millender turns the corner. Bailey catch and shoot 3. Georgia tonight just 3 of 10 from downtown. Flan, kick out, Klabjar. That's a 3.
That's a blown coverage right there. Justin Bailey in the gaps as Flan tried to drive down the slot. Helps a little too much. You leave one of the best shooters in Urban Klabjar wide open in the corner.
Count it and the foul. Georgia needed it. After a 2-minute, 15-second scoring drought, allowed Florida to take a 12-point lead.
Well, Bailey helps too much on the strong side, and that's an easy kick out. Urban Klabjar, the Slovenian, from deep.
And right here, Smurf Millender doing everything he can, partner, because at the end of the day, Jeremiah Wilkinson has been a non-factor offensively. 1 for 8 for Georgia's leading scorer, who's averaging 18 points per game.
Anyone who's averaging 18 points per game understands that his team will need his point production if he's going to try to get things going. Now is the time for number 5 in red to step up.
White called him a bulldog and Millender a pit bull. The two have been vital to Georgia's success this season. Their lone loss to Clemson in overtime of the Charleston Classic Championship all the way back on November the 23rd. They've won 7 in a row since. Mass substitution here for Florida. Ruben Chinyelu comes on. Xavier Lee. Micah Handlogden comes out as Condon comes on.
This is the point. If you're the subs checking into the game with a 10-point lead, this is if you're Florida, you're trying to push this lead on up to 15. Now, Georgia's got to make their adjustments right here with under 10 to go in the ball game.
Wilkinson now 1 for 8. Klabjar extra pass. Brown left the ball behind. And it's going the other way.
Missed opportunity there by Florida as they seem to have some advantages. And the defense with this new unit can come in and try to clamp up, but Isaiah Brown has some range on here on this unit on the court for Florida.
Catchings off glass, no. Tap back won't go from James. The points have come at a premium tonight for a Dogs offense that leads the nation in scoring at 99 points per game. Credit to the Gator defense. Lee step back. 3 won't go. Rebound effort. Brown set back. Third opportunity, and Chinyelu pays it off.
There's the power ball of Florida. Pounding the offensive glass, giving themselves multiple possessions.
Oh, Chinyelu with the rejection. Lee the floater. Lee from the logo. Largest lead for the Gators.
That brings a lot of this faithful to their feet. You see Xavier Lee knock down a jumper from outside.
And a timeout taken by Georgia.
Florida on a surge, and it's Xavier Lee who's found a little bit of confidence with the deep 3 ball.
There have been a lot of pump up the crowd worthy moments tonight for the Florida Gators, who just came into this game feeling like they were desperate for a win. 5 losses by a combined 17 points. Absent blocked to the rim by Condon. And Georgia still with just 14 points in the second half. Chinyelu fighting for the offensive rebound. Instead it's James. Georgia without their enforcer in the paint. Santos Surreal was ejected for a flagrant 2 with 10 minutes to go in the opening half. Klabjar behind the back. Brown fouled. And 2 shots coming.
Good job by Florida getting out and running their lanes wide. Urban Cloudjar rewards Isaiah Brown for running the break. Gets to go to the line, shoot 2.
And the Gators in the bonus the rest of the way. 15-point lead, the largest of the night, led by as many as 9 in the opening half. Georgia rebounded to make it a 1-point game at the break. Well, the Gators have had a different level of urgency and intensity since halftime. Remember, more SEC hoops coming your way later on tonight. We take it in Neville Arena. Auburn also seemingly desperate for a win against an 11-win Texas A&M team. Bucky McMillan, as the Aggies playing an exciting brand of basketball.
Head coach Bucky McMillan in his first year at Texas A&M, back in his home state of Alabama. Going to the Plains. Stephen Pearl, they'll have a challenge on their hand, trying to get their first win in conference play.
How does Georgia get back into this game?
I think you're going to have to do it with your defense. Put the pressure on them. You have to play to your identity, and you have to get some things going. Now, they haven't been able to match up one-on-one, playing this 1-3-1 zone, but you're going to have to create some turnovers and get some easy baskets.
Chinyelu goes right over the top of Absent.
Good job right there by Ruben Chinyelu. He took his time on that line in the low post.
Rhythm 3, James, no. Absent the offensive rebound. James cuts, and the left hand won't go, but he was fouled. A chance finally to stop this 14-2 Florida run over the last 5.5 minutes. Fifth foul on Florida, 2 more, and the Dogs in the bonus the rest of the way.
James, a much improved free throw shooter this season. He can be an important player. A utility player, can do so many things, guard a lot of positions, rebound, block shots. And of course, I jinx him with the free throw.
Just 6 makes at the line tonight for the nation's leader in free throw makes. 22 per game for the Dogs coming in. Hauk walled off. Skip pass. Cloudjar wide open. Dagger!
And that's beautiful. And Hauk just bowled that ball. It was almost a gutter ball, as it was right along the side of the baseline. Goes right into the shooting pocket of Cloudjar, and he cashes out.
The threes have not come easy this year for Florida, but boy, tonight, Richard, it feels like they've come at the most pivotal of moments.
They've needed some big shots to go, and you can feel it in the building when they're able to knock down a 3. But you can see right on the money with that pass from Thomas Hauk and the beautiful rotation by Urban Cloudjar as he cans the corner 3.
One of the returners from the national championship team last year had a big roll off the bench, particularly late in the season. Catchings took the contact, puts it off the window. He has 12. Stolen by Blue Kane. Ross could not get around, hand-locked him.
At this point in the game, this is important for Georgia. It's going to have to figure out how to get some things going. You know, you got a lot to play for. You find yourself down 19. Try to chip away, but still try to gain some momentum.
Well, Mike White knew that the resistance would come during SEC play. Admittedly, a little bit of an easier schedule this year in the non-conference than maybe the last couple of years. That was by design. Helped this new team gel a little bit. And boy, did they. 99 points per game. They've hit the 100 mark 7 times, breaking a program record. Tonight they have been challenged in every way by this Florida defense that ranks as one of the best in the nation. Ross missing out on a three-point play. Will get 2 shots.
Still a lot of time for Georgia to put some things together, but they're going to have to do it in a hurry. Mike White understood that this was going to be a challenge game to come down here on the road. And got a tough blow early on. You lose Santos Surreal. I thought Georgia played a magnificent first half, but the adjustments made by Todd Golden and his staff in the second have been the difference maker. And it's the runs that Georgia has not been able to stop Florida on that have really made this separation.
6 misses at the free throw line tonight. Georgia shooting just 50% from the stripe. They've been outscored in the second half, 35-17. After it was a 1-point game at the break. Ross at the line for his second attempt. And this is a rivalry that has in recent years been dominated by Florida. They've won 12 of the last 13. That one win came last year in Athens, a court storm victory for the Dogs. Hauk up and under, blocked by James Handlogton there, and the offensive rebounding domination continues. Florida's 18th offensive board.
That's where Handlogten has been able to make his contribution.
Millender relocates, 3-ball, puts it down.
Great job on the relocation. Millender has outstanding footwork. He was able to at least throw that one up, but then stuck, relocates, and gets the easy shot.
Hauk left open. Rebound attempt. Condon goes to the court and is behind the play. Here comes Ross with numbers. Ross fouled, and back to the line goes the transfer from St. Mary's.
Georgia tends to think that this one might have been a potential goaltending. Ross able to take it all the way to the basket, takes the foul.
Fourth foul on Boogie Flame. Ross went 1 for 2 on his last trip to the line. It has been a raucous crowd tonight at the O-Dome, which seats 10,500. Broke ground on this Southeastern Conference staple back in 1977. It's been host to many great games in this league and great Florida teams. And Todd Golden believes that this team can be a great team despite the early struggles.
A lot of room to grow for both of these squads. And Georgia now find themselves down 15 points. You want to get a stop, see if you can chip away.
Speaking of national champions, Brandon Spikes in the house, cutting it up with his old head coach, Urban Meyer, in the building.
And he was a big-time defender for the Gators back in the day.
19 offensive rebounds tonight for the nation's leading rebounding team. Florida trying to put the finishing touches on their second quad one victory of the season. The other was against Miami at a neutral site game. And a double-double now for Thomas Hauk, who has been a star. 19 points, 10 boards, 5 assists. Chinyulu with 5 to shoot. Tap out secured by Millender, wants to push. Kane off the bounce. Shuffle. And Dylan James pays it off. Floater and the lob. Alex Condon on the feed by Boogie Flag.
And it's been a play that they've been able to take advantage of all night long. And these bigs, great athleticism and finishing skills.
Now the full court pressure from the Dogs. They can score in bunches, and they can also turn you over. They are not out of it yet.
Great job. Recognition. Boogie Flan dribbling head up. This support right here, Georgia with the turnover. They can see if they can get something going. This is a big opportunity to convert.
Millender drew the bump from Klabjar. And both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. So Millender will go to the line for Georgia.
You know, it's been these points of the games that's been the challenge for Florida in their losses. Can they close games out? Can they make the play that they need? In Georgia right now, you find yourself down 13 points. You put the pressure on, created a few turnovers. Millender going to the line to shoot. If he can convert these, you have an opportunity to see if you can get a steal and get it back into single digits.
Their leading scorer tonight, Jeremiah Wilkinson, held to 2 points on 1 of 9 shooting. Just a couple of days after a season-high 31-point performance in an overtime victory against Auburn. Did injure his ankle in the overtime, said he was fine afterwards, but did not look himself tonight. And of course, as you alluded to earlier in this half, Santos Surreal, a big miss, particularly on the glass. He was ejected with 10 minutes to go in the first half. And Florida has dominated the glass, plus 21. House draws a foul, and he will go to the line.
But it changes things significantly. You no longer have the rim protector. You don't have the lob threat on the offensive end and the intimidator. It's not just the fact of how many shots he can block, but how many he can change. Jeremiah Wilkinson not having his typical performance tonight. Another reason of Georgia having some woes in this performance.
Well, they've lost just 1 game all year to this point in the midst of their second best start in program history. They've played hoops for 120 years in Athens, Georgia. That lone loss coming to Clemson back on November the 23rd. Barring anything crazy, this will end their 7-game winning streak.
Still time left in this game. As we mentioned, Georgia's a team that has some resiliency. They haven't been able to have a lot of the outside shots to fall in this game.
James looking for the poster. Condon thought he had a clean block, and instead a foul.
And I thought he did too, but that's what you get when you Dylan James. You come in and you attack with authority. Good things happen. Great job. Lane Lope opens up. Looked like a lot of ball to me on that one, but.
And to about 9,500 who are still in attendance here tonight.
But listen, those type of things happen. When you attack with that level of attitude and authority, either 2 things are going to happen. You're going to dunk on the man, or you're not, but they're going to get out of your way the next time. And that's how that goes.
You speaking from experience?
Maybe a little bit.
Dylan James to Catchings. 3 ball, tried to draw a foul, couldn't. Now Catchings runs into Lee. And a foul is called on Kenan Catchings.
And Georgia got exactly what they needed. I think Catchings, after he didn't get the shot he wanted and had to pump fake, rotate that ball around. A big opportunity. Is this really good defense by Thomas Houck staying in the play and changing that shot of Kenan Catchings. Seemed to have his mind made up that he wanted the 3 ball. Plenty of time, could have put it on the deck and taken it in for a closer attempt.
So many guys on this Florida team being asked to step into bigger roles. Maybe none bigger than Thomas Houck. Remember last year he was a 6th man for this national championship team. This year he's expected to be the leading scorer, one of their top defenders, one of their great rebounders. And boy, tonight in a game they had to have, Richard, he stepped up a double-double.
Well, Thomas Houck is a player that Todd Golden has referred to as his 6th starter. So even though he was the 6th man on that team, he had a very important role on the national championship roster.
7th double-double of his career tonight. Meanwhile, Blue Cane will put Georgia back on the line. Kind of a goaltending there, but they're not going to call it. Kane with an opportunity to make this a 10-point game with 2:01 to go. And remember, Georgia can score as quickly as anyone in the nation. In fact, they're top 3 in tempo this year.
There's still a lot of time left in this game. And as we mentioned, the pressure in which that they can apply is going to be huge. Todd Golden wants to talk things over.
Richard Hendrick is so ready for football season to be over. Condon got the tap and put it down.
And that's a great execution right there. Todd Golden had a chance to dial up something after that break. He runs a man long and he gets an easy basket.
Catchings rims out of 3. Condon the rebound and was fouled by Blue Cane.
We're talking football. And Todd Golden sends a streaking wide receiver to go deep to get an easy layup.
Well, speaking of football, the young man going to the line right now, Alex Condon, born and raised in Perth, Australia, didn't start playing organized basketball until he was 13. Instead, he was playing polo and Aussie rules football. Said that's where he gets some of his toughness.
Yeah, Australian rules, a different game from all football and American. North American football, but Australian rules football definitely have to be tough. A lot of tough players from down under.
Imagine that dude running at you on the Australian football field at 6'11", 240.
Well, you got to stand in the gap.
I'll stand on the sideline, away from him.
See, that's not the attitude you have to have. You got to get a man down. You know, if you're on the football field, it doesn't matter. You got to use leverage, make a play.
There's a lane violation there on Georgia, so Condon will get a second attempt at his second free throw. "13-point game, 1:45 to play." Ross catch and shoot 3. And that has not been there tonight for Georgia. Now 4 of 16 from downtown. Brown drew a foul. 2 shots coming for the sophomore from Orlando.
Georgia has had plenty of opportunities down the stretch to make this game interesting. He's not able to convert on these looks. Able to let a man get numbers in transition. Brown, the recipient. He'll go to the line.
Such a monumental game for Florida, who started 0-1 in SEC play for the 4th consecutive season. It just felt like a game they had to win, particularly, Richard, when you look at what's coming down the pipe. 3 ranked meetings in a 4-game stretch. And then an LSU team that's receiving votes, an Auburn team that could very easily be ranked right now had it not been for some early season top 10 losses.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to get any easier. And because you are the defending national champion, I think this one's going to be a goaltender on Condon.
Boy, is he explosive or what?
They track that one down. Hit the glass there by Ross. But because they're the defending national champions, you're going to get every team's best punch. fair or not fair, it's not the same team from last year. And in many ways, the opponent that's playing against you is not even the same team either. But there's an extra boost of motivation that people have when they're playing Florida this season. But I do think that they are still SEC champion good, maybe even Final Four good, but they're going to have to address some things, particularly in the backcourt, of how can you engineer some buckets from Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee. If they can step up to the challenge and get it done to give this team the balance that they need, then you'll see them be able to reach their ceiling.
Florida picked to win the league. Won the SEC tournament championship last year in the midst of a 12-game win streak to close out the 2024-25 campaign, which culminated with their third national title. Catching's three won't go. Got his miss. Out to Kane. No good. Georgia has shot less than 25% from downtown tonight. Brown blocked by Kane. Followed it up. Puts it down. 90 points tonight for the Gators.
Isaiah Brown's had some really good activity ever since he stepped on the court, and finishing it out with some strong play.
Good block there by Condon. Saved by Flan. Here comes Lee. 3-on-1. Condon with the exclamation.
Wow. Alex Condon with the double pump. Phenomenal finish by the Aussie.
Late whistle from Pat Adams. Blocking foul on Flan, and that will be 5 on the Arkansas transfer.
Well, you see the athleticism on display, and Alex Condon with the double pump slam in transition. Beautiful work.
He's had an excellent night. Thomas Houck has had an excellent night. Condon with 21 points, 8 rebounds. Houck with his 7th double-double. Boogie Flan seemed to get something going in the second half. Finishes with 8 points, 8 boards, 6 assists.
He did some good things. The effort and energy was there. He was active on the court. Found some success driving to the basket. And that's where he has to build from there. Hit his free throws, use that momentum, and the outside shot will fall. He's going to be a very important factor for Florida moving forward.
Florida is going to walk out of the O-Dome with their 36th win in 38 games in Gainesville, with their second quad one victory of the season and their first win in SEC play. This is the type of performance Todd Golden needed from his team. They delivered in a dominant second half.
They definitely did so, particularly in the second half. And some momentum they're going to have moving forward.
Georgia will have to regroup quickly. They have a bear of a schedule to start SEC play. They will go to South Carolina next. The Florida Gators improved to 1-1 in league play. Georgia's second loss of the season snaps a 7-game winning streak.